Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Daniel Tapia, and in this video, what you're going to learn is you're going to get the breakdown of a presentation that did over $12 million in sales in less than 24 hours. Yes, it's a big claim, but I saw it happen. I saw the whole process. I documented it. So you're going to be able to see how they opened it up, how they launched it, and how they're closing it and hoping to eventually, at the end of this 30-day challenge, essentially this 30-day launch that they put together, they are going to probably make close to 30 to $36 million on this one product, Okay, understand this is way different than selling knickknacks and selling little widgets and selling little memberships here and there. This is something that they're selling one thing. They're selling it one way, one thing. They're not having calls. They're not doing any like high ticket sales, so to speak, with applications and all that stuff. What they're doing is they're selling a course, okay? And to give you context, this is Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, and Tony Robbins, okay? And I'm going to break that down for you. Some of the psychological triggers. One of the things I'm going to tell you right before we hop right into me sharing the screen and me sharing with you like that presentation, breaking it down. What I'm going to do my best to do is go through it, pause, recap of what we just learned, and then continue going so that you guys can see how this rolls out and how you can use it for your own business. Or maybe if you don't own a business, you can get someone that does own a business and use this same platform or methodology, which is I'm going to use. I'm going to use the same methodology that I'm going to go get other experts, and I'm just going to put their expertise in a way that I could sell their expertise. In the case that most of you might be coming on here and don't have an expertise, or if you do, I'm going to show you what they did so you can understand this, okay? And there's a lot of psychological stuff going on in here. But to give you some context, Dean Graziosi about a month and a half ago, put out this challenge, or essentially he started talking about this program that they're putting together, him, Russell Brunson, and Tony Robbins, right? And he starts talking about this program, just hinting it out there, starts bringing in affiliates, and the affiliates is by application only. So it made it very, very small. It's not very big affiliates in this thing. I think there was about from between Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, and Dean Graziosi, they probably have multiple millions of people following them, over tens of millions of people following them, and only 1,000 got accepted. I was one of those. Fortunately, I was one of those to get accepted. But I want to share with you, what that process looked like. And I did that in another video. I'll probably link it up here somewhere. But this video specifically is going to break down the video that they did that converted at 8%. Okay. And for any of you guys that know anything about webinar presentations or sales in general, mass selling, 8% is really good. What they expected was about a 4% close. Anything from 4 to 8% is really good. You'll notice that Dean thought he was going to close at 4%. They ended up closing at 8%. So think about this. They're selling a $2,000 course. Okay. The difference between 4% and 8% is monumental. Okay. It had a lot to do with, obviously, with affiliates and stuff. But of course, they're going to have to pay out a lot of affiliate people because they brought some big, heavy names like BioTrust. They brought in Agora Publishing, which does $1 billion, I think, every year. Russell Brunson himself is promoting it. Almost everyone you can imagine is promoting it that has a huge list. Or in other words, if you don't know what a list is, it's basically a whole bunch of emails. They have a whole bunch of email addresses that they've collected. So, and then a lot of people put ads to just bombard the internet. So anyways, the difference between 4% and 8% is monumental. Think about this. 2,000, and they had 6,000 people sign up day one. 6,000 people sign up day one. Dean said that they're going to sign up another 12,000 within the next 13 days. So he said in the next 13 days, there's going to be another 13,000, or like 10 to 12,000 people are going to buy a $2,000 course in the next 13 days. And today is the second. So I'm going to share with you that presentation, and we're going to hop right into it. I'm going to go over there right now. All right, guys, so now we're in my dashboard. What I'm going to share with you is I'm going to show you my email, because there's a combination between emails, but the ones that Tony and Dean Graziosi used to promote this event are labeled Tony and Dean. And that's kind of how I segmented these emails, because there's emails from Dean personally, and then there's Tony and Dean. So the personal ones are the ones for the affiliates, like the people like myself promoting it. And also, like I said, the way that I structured this was, obviously I put Tony and Dean in one label. So I labeled it like this. So it's labeled like this. So you'll see that these are the emails that went out. And I congregated this part because of the fact that I believe I wanted to check this out, not only the presentation itself, but the whole structure of how this event went down, to create this mass like pressure and just build up to a little big launch, and then how they're going to close it down. So I want to know all the emails and all the stuff that went into place, so I can be very, very analytical and see how this thing went down, so I could show you guys how to do it specifically. So every day, hopefully by the end of this thing, I'm going to give you guys some knowledge bombs to show you. Okay, so this stuff is all before the training. This is all before the training happens. Okay, and if you watch my video before, you learn about the hype, how to build up the hype, how they built it up. Secondly, they did the launch, which is right here. They did the launch. That's the time of. And now they're doing the encore. The encore typically goes for 48 hours. And the reason why it is, in Russell Brunson talks really well about this. I'll probably put together like a small little mini course to teach you why that is. But all of the best webinar presentations, the auto webinar presentations I've seen, all have a 48-hour time cap. So when they first watch the video to the cookie till the 48-hour time cap, they stop seeing the presentation and only see the payment. That's it. Like, they only get to see it for 2 days. And so today is the second day it's on the replay. So Tuesday, when today's Thursday, May 2nd, they launched this on April 30th. That was the day of the webcast or webinar presentation. Day one was yesterday, which was Wednesday. That was the webinar day. Day two is today, the webinar replay. And I believe that they're probably going to close it down, the webinar replay, by today. So this thing, after this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll keep you guys up to date, but they are going to take this video down, and it's just now going to be selling. It's just going to be like closing out the cart. And there's a couple of good books to learn about this. It's probably Jeff Walker's Launch Method. Stephen Larson talks really well about this. Russell Brunson does this all the time. So if you've learned anything from Russell Brunson, you'll know that this is amazing. So what I'm going to do, and you guys click on my link, I'll give you guys this training also I'll give you guys the emails that they sent out in a little PDF, so you guys can just copy and look at it and see what the psychological triggers are. But this is the encore presentation, the replay. And you notice that it's 2 hours and 7 minutes. Most of you watching this are like, dude, I'm not going to sit to a 2-hour webinar. Well, truth is, maybe you won't, but your clients will. That's more important. Stop worrying about you. Your clients will. I remember when I first sat through a webinar, I've actually only sat through a webinar once, and they sold me a $5,000 program, and I bought it. Okay. Ever since then, I've been hooked. I went to Russell Brunson's Funnel Hacking Live, and I watched him pitch from the stage the same exact presentation, exactly the same presentation, the exact open, the history, then the pitch obviously was right here. The pitch was right here. And then to be honest with you, I don't think they did a very good job of the pitch itself. I feel like he was kind of like stepping back like this a little bit. When Dean was saying the pitch, he was kind of like coming like this, it felt like. And Russell obviously is Russell's a mad closer. You guys probably don't know this about Russell, but he's a mad closer. Like, he closes hard. He closes hard, despite of what people say. He closes freaking hard. He gets away with it because he's such like he's an angel, like so to speak, you know. But he closes freaking hard. Dean, on the other hand, it seemed like he was trying to like, you can buy, but try not to buy. Like you can buy, but if you want, like he just did. You can tell he wasn't in his element saying a webinar presentation like this. And you know, if you study webinars, you understand that you got to close hard around this time right here. This time is when they start to. So I'm going to walk you through it. The first couple of minutes here, Tony is talking, and they're framing you. What they're doing is they're pre-framing you for what's to come. Like, what was the past look like? What did the past look like? And that's what. So they're doing like the backgrounds, right? Like they're doing. What's interesting is that most of these people that came in here already knew who these guys were. But if this is a cold audience that didn't really know much about Dean and Russell and Tony Robbins, they would have to introduce themselves again. But yeah, they subtly, they're talking like the backstory. They're talking these backstories and saying like how history was, like how the education system was, and the new way. So they're putting them into a new opportunity. The way that Russell talks about it, he talks about the new opportunity. So here's obviously the new opportunity. Let's take a look at it. Okay. They use a lot of data, by the way. They're not using a lot. They're using some stories, but they're not using a lot of stories. Like Russell talks like only in story, and that's why I think his converted so much more higher. And if Russell would have done the whole pitch himself, I believe that they probably would have been probably around 10 to 12% close rate, because Russell, he's pretty consistent with his webinars. He said his webinars almost always convert 10 to 15%. Almost always convert that good. And he said if you're kind of good, you'll convert at like 6 to 8%. So he always converts 10 to 15% on a live webinar. And he said from a stage, he closes about 30 to 40% consistently. So these guys are probably better on stage, but I know Tony is. Let's see, they're still talking about the backstory. Yeah, they're doing. All right. See, now they're doing a little bit of teaching. Now they're doing some teaching, and they're using testimonials. They're using testimonials to stack that belief in you. Like masterminds are the thing, right? They're trying to make you believe that masterminds are the key. What's interesting that I've noticed here is that there was like 4 pillars that they talk about. Number 1 was selling like a low ticket thing, like selling books to get like expertise, right? Then selling courses, then selling coaching, then selling masterminds. And it's interesting to note, you can tell there was this like conflict, internal conflict with what they were saying. You can tell that they were kind of like, shoot, we're gonna fight against a course, but yet we're selling a course. Interesting, right? That was a weird little feeling that I got from them putting off. Like they were talking about selling a book, and you can tell they were like passionately like saying, don't freaking sell a book. They were passionate about that. Then what happened was they got into courses, and they were like kind of like blah, 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 like trying to push it off, like going around the idea that courses, and they're like, yeah, courses are fantastic. Courses are amazing. This is why I got into this course. I got into courses and stuff. And then they talk about coaching. Well, coaching, you can only do 1-to-1, but masterminds, you can do 1-to-many. If you do coaching, you're trading hours for dollars, right? Essentially. And they're saying coaching, you could sell a higher ticket, but it's much, you just buy yourself a new job. But they said with masterminds, you can sell 1-to-many. And that piques everyone's interest, by the way. Like, I want to be the Walmarts of the world, right? And that's where we're right there. They transition into, okay, that's where you say, oh man, yeah, I want to do masterminds, but I'm not an expert. And then they come straight into this part. They start the content portion. They start the content. So they use content. They talk about the expert, the reporter, and the broker. So essentially, I did a brokerage mastermind launch, the same exact methodology, and I made $5,500 in 3 days using this brokerage one. Because I wasn't an expert in a certain particular area. The reporter is a little bit different, like kind of like you guys know John Dumas. This guy is he's a reporter. He basically just looks everything out. So here's what's interesting too. I've heard a lot of people talk about enthusiasm. Man, these guys are so hypey. I'm just not gonna buy from them. Like, why are they so excited? Like, I know I used to get that a lot. But to be honest with you, it's not about you. It's about the customer. And the people that would say stuff like that about me, or saying like you're too hypey, you're too high motivated, you're too like that, probably will never buy from you. And if they do, they're gonna be bad customers. So if people are having a problem with your energy, then they're not going to be a good fit. Very simple. And that's a really good, easy way to weed people out. It's like, if you have low energy and you suck the life out of people, we're not a good fit. You should probably go find someone else. So anyways, that was that. Okay. So they're following the framework pretty good. So curiosity, obviously they're like, okay, you see how you could be this? Then they're like, well, should I run it though? Like, should I do it in person, or should I do it? So this is kind of like Russell Brunson's 3 secrets. A lot of people teach webinars, to be specific with you. And there's always like 3 things. You have to take them away from where they're at, take them into a new vehicle that's going to get them a result. And that's what they're doing here. And I'm sure they consulted with Russell on how to do a lot of the stuff that they're doing. So then they go from, can you actually do this? Yes. See, I can do it. How do I do it? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's where it's like, can I actually do this? Like, is it possible for me to do this? And then they show you, yes. Is it possible for me? And now they're going to show you. But I don't have the resources, right? So there's 3 things: vehicle, internal, external. And you're going to notice that he uses those 3 things right here to stack it. I love Dean. He's so egotistical though. I'm sure he believes that too though. Like, if you right here. So you see how it's 3 things? 1, 2, and 3. He's using 3 things just like how Russell Brunson teaches it, just like every webinar teaches it. You teach 3 things, and despite what you want to say, stop trying to figure it out on your own. Look, they're doing it, and they made $12 million in 24 hours. Do you think you can get a piece of that if you do a little bit of what they're doing, or just model a little bit, or listen to what I'm saying to how to use this for yourself? Because I use this all the time. We use it to sell webinar presentations, to sell programs that are $5,500 a piece. And people, every time we do it, we get at least 1 or 2 sales from it. But it's in an industry that you can't really sell all year round. So we're looking for a different avenue to scale that thing sideways, like to scale it out the way that they did. So it has to be a little more mass market for ours. But specifically, see how this works? Yeah, so you see the new thing is a mastermind. That's the one thing that they're trying to talk about. So in every presentation, there's 4 things, right? There's the one thing and the 3 things that support the one thing, right? The one thing here that they're talking about is masterminds. The 3 things that support it is you can be a reporter, you can be an expert, or you can be a broker. Then they believe, once they believe that that's the vehicle that they need. Oh yeah, I need to be in a mastermind. That's what I need to be doing. I need to be selling a mastermind. Then the second step comes into, Shoot, I'm not a mastermind kind of guy though. Huh. I don't really do really well in front of people. Boom. That's where they bring up virtual versus in person. Because then they'll say, most of you guys aren't really good at doing in-person stuff. That's why we do virtual um, masterminds as well, where you Zoom call 100 people every week, right? So that's like a mastermind in itself. And then they're like, yeah, but I just don't have the resources. And that's where they're going to talk about here. Yeah, so they did the three things. They didn't say three things, but they didn't say three secrets the way that Russell does. But they did three things, right? Vehicle, internal, external, and that's beliefs. That's just belief about anything new. Anything new that comes up, it's always is this gonna do what it says it's gonna do? Right? So you get that question. Is this gonna do what it's gonna say it's gonna do? Can I do what they said I was gonna do? Like I see how they can do it, but what about me? And then they say, do I have the resources? Do I have the time, the energy, the money to do this? Those are the three pillars behind a high successful webinar, which they currently just did. And if you don't consider this success, it's $12 million in 24 hours. I think that's pretty successful. Pretty successful. Russell does it all the time with everything. And I believe that you guys can do it just as much as I did. And if you're not good at this, if you're not an expert and don't know three things, figure out someone that is an expert and then just go broker their knowledge. Like they said, you broker their knowledge. I did it for myself. I'm currently doing it. So notice this right here, the content, the stories right here were in the beginning. Right here was the content, about 20 minutes of content. Now they're transitioning into the sale. So you're going to notice that they're going to start stacking. Let's see. All right. Yep. Yeah. I guess they're breaking down objections. They're breaking down objections from minute 47 to probably about yep, there you go. So notice, guys, there's no payment page right here. So some of you guys are gonna be like, man, just send me the link. Like, I need to show them the money. I need to show them. I just want to talk to people that just want to buy right now. The problem with that is that they haven't seen the value. You first have to build the value, then stack it, and then release the product at a lower price level that they thought, holy crap, that's a good deal for what you guys are talking about. So you can tell that these guys are not the freaking masters at stacking, but they're doing good enough, right? Dean's really good at launching. Russell's really good at webinars. So notice that they're talking about the presentation. They're talking about it. They haven't even started talking about the price yet. They're not even talking about the price. See? Look, so now they're telling you what's inside and they're breaking beliefs because you're like, well, yeah, but that's a lot of money, man. And then you start, and then they're pinning it against like data like, oh, well, you're going to spend like this much money at a college, where your logical mindset will be like, oh, yeah, I should do this instead. And I'm barely going to start at 67,000. Oh, man, this is going to suck. Right? So now they're stacking it with value and price. Okay. And mint software. Yeah. 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 So they're stacking it up. They're stacking it up, and then just they're packing they're stacking the value and packaging it together so that you have it all covered, all bases covered. Because you know that you're gonna be like, oh, dude, how do I run my mastermind? First objection covers the product. The product tells you this is exactly how you're gonna do it. Oh, but I don't know how to get people to it. Well, we're gonna show you how to use traffic and scaling, right? Okay, and yep, yep. So it's just like, so it was like 20 minutes of a pitch. It sounds like they've done this before. So they pitched it. Now you're ready to go buy. You have to go buy now. Like they pitched it. It took them an hour and 17 minutes to get to the pitch. Most people will hate that. The problem is that don't worry about most people. Just worry about the people that are giving you a credit card. Where I'm looking at 5,799 people currently in this group. Okay, so your opinion doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the results, and they're getting results. And I'm showing you what they're doing to get the result, so you guys can just model what they're doing. So you're gonna notice that they're gonna start putting. They'll either put the little. So they used Lewis House kind of anchor the price and say that this is worth it. They're using testimonials to bring in Russell Brunson. This is exactly what Russell does, by the way. Now he does this only very specific. It looks really good. You know, they use Bedros Keuilian. So they're using big names and they're using normal people. I guess the way that they do this is really good. So it's just real nice to look. And now they brought in the man of the hour. My favorite dude on planet Earth is Russell Brunson. Most amazing dude I've ever seen talk, and I just believe he's such a good guy. His character is just so good. So they brought Russell in, and they used the white. This is a cool little hack. They used the all white for Russell to really make him stand out. Okay, understand what they did there. They put him in white to stand out. Like what the freak? Why is Russell wearing a white? I'm assuming they told him to wear some colors that are specific, right? Because dark blue right here is what do you call it? Trust, right? And white is probably I don't know exactly about branding, but I'm assuming they did that for a reason. They didn't just tell him like, "Hey, Russell, wear your nice shirt." And this is the nice shirt that he thought of. But if you know anything about Russell, he's not very like much of a suit and tie kind of guy. And look, all of you guys thinking, well, I have to be in business, I have to have business cards, I have to this. Look at what Tony's wearing. Look at what Russell's probably the only one that looks nice right now. But look at what Dean's wearing. He's not even wearing any like a suit. He's just wearing like a regular t-shirt. And they made that much money. Like times are changing, things are changing. So, okay, so and I think the reason why they brought Russell in is because he has such a big audience and everybody is like an emotional buyer from him. Like everybody just radiates to Russell because he's just such a good person. And so you notice that it took them so long to bring out Russell Brunson because it built up the hype. It built up the hype inside this presentation. It brought everybody like, where's Russell? I was looking at the comments and everybody was like, where's Russell Brunson? Bring Russell in, bring Russell in. It was like going wild. It was going wild for like 20 minutes in. They're like, where the heck is Russell? But Russell is their closer. Russell is their closer. And I love it because Russell tells stories that closes people instantly. Okay. You'll notice that he does. He's telling a story. He's telling the story. So they're telling stories. So they're telling stories now to overcome all the objections. And Russell's really good at this because he's obsessed over understanding his customers. And most of these people either love Tony, love Dean, or probably love Russell. And this is like that intertwined mix where like people that hate Tony love Russell. And so they're like, I have to love Tony now because Russell's in there and Russell's a good guy. And then like there's an internal conflict when these three came together that most people, they're like, crap, I hate Dean, but I love Tony. But the problem is that most people kind of like lukewarm. They love all three of them kind of like in between. So when they brought Russell in, it was just super exciting. I thought it was super exciting. So Russell's just telling stories and just yeah, so he's telling a story. Holy smokes. They just love Russell's stories, I'm assuming. Russell's just such a good story closer. Such a good story closer. I can't even tell you how like amazed I am by how Russell's ability to use a story to close someone emotionally. Like, it's just crazy, 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 crazy. Dean and Russell don't really do that much because I don't believe that they believe they should. But until they started seeing how Russell's doing these things, they're like, dude, what's going on? This is crazy. So notice that Dean asked the question, but he pushed it to Russell so that Russell tells the story because Russell can tell a story like no one else. And he can bring such complex ideas into something that's just like, what? That's really easy to understand, huh? Didn't realize that. So what he's talking about here is like, the guy's like, well, I'm a freelancer. How do I do that? So Russell's like, I was thinking about the story. No, he's doing the story. So you see, like now they're talking about just going to the course, go to the course for the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They're just literally telling you guys, go. Yeah, they're just going and talking. Stories. Russell's just a freaking master. Russell is a master closer. Oh man, I just love it. So this is the presentation. Yeah. He's just closing now. He's like, he's addressing this internal conflict that most people have right now that are looking at this and be like, oh, man, I want to buy it, but you guys are already rich. Why am I going to give you more money? You're going to be more rich. And then Russell uses this, like, it's not going to change our life close. So we don't need your money. You're the one that needs it. Like, it's not going to change our life. It's crazy. Yeah. I would recommend you go and watch it. I'm not really like letting them talk. I'm kind of commentating how this works, how this rolling out. And if you don't hear it on my ear, it's because I have it here. But I would go do your due diligence and watch this. Just see how it is. I know that you don't have 2 hours, but check it out. Would you spend 2 hours in your day to understand how a presentation can make $12 million in 24 hours? Like, come on, man. You got to find your priorities, okay? Wow. I'll give you guys the link below so you guys can go check out the replay, and then also so you guys can get the course. Yeah, I think it'd be fantastic. I'm gonna give you guys some bonuses if you get the course from my link. And the only way I'm gonna be able to track that. So they're finishing up the presentation here, and I did some commentary on this. But what I want to do is I want to give you guys some bonuses. So before this presentation all went down, there was a couple of strategies and tactics that Dean used specifically to launch this thing out to the ethers, right? So he used affiliates, he used the Dream 100, and then he used the affiliates, and he brought them in, and he got them excited to promote this thing. And once this thing started to kind of take itself over the edge like this, because you're like, man, where do I start? What I did was I documented the journey prior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a little mini course for you guys and document and show you how this transitions into your business and how to use the exact same framework, to use this for your business or to help you use this on someone else's business. So I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to throw in the emails that Dean used to launch this out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this video along with the funnel that I created that kind of matches this. So you'll see that there was about 7 pages in this particular funnel. It was the registration page, right? Once they registered, there was 3 videos or 4 videos. Thank you video. Video number 1, video number 2, video number 3. Those were the videos. And then there was some things along with that. And then after that, it was the launch day. And I'm going to give you that little funnel. It's the launch day, the replay. Okay, that's what, 5, 7? And then what happens is that they're going to close the cart. And the closing cart is just sending you to the payment. So I'm going to break down everything that they do, how they launched it, how they got people excited, what kind of psychological triggers that they use, like how did they make people push over the edge for this. I'm going to share with you guys if you get the course from my link. Now, the only way I can track this is if once you pay, and I'll link it up below. Once you pay for this, you send me a screenshot. I'm going to put a little messenger below, and you can send me a screenshot. It's going to be step 1, go watch this video. I'm going to put the video. Step 2, go get the course, and it's going to give you the course link. Step 3, what you got to do is you send me the receipt that you bought from my link, okay, and I'll submit it to them. Once it checks out, I'll send you all of your goodies. So you're going to get that. You're going to get the whole funnel. I built it out in ClickFunnels, so if you don't have a ClickFunnels account, you can get a 14-day free trial. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to give you all the pre-launch emails, all the follow-up emails that they're sending out, and then also the strategy itself. Like I'm going to give you all the videos that I'm going to do, the recap videos. I'm going to put them all in one course in an organized area so you can consolidate all the information and not have to look at the launch as where do I start? Like, where does it begin? Like, what's going on here? I'm going to break it all down, and I'm going to give it to you. Day 1, do this. Day 2, do this. Day 3, do this. Day 4, do this. Day 5, day 6, day 7. This is the launch method if you wanted to consolidate the time frame. If you don't want to make it 30 days, you don't have 30 days, or you don't have any information. I'm going to show you how to break it down, like really, really small. Now remember, this is like going to be like a $30 million launch. Okay. It's going to probably make $30 million in the next 13 days, or, in 15 days, it would have made $30 million. 30 million. Understand, you don't have to make $30 million. You don't even have to make $1 million starting off. You just have to make at least 1,000 to get excited, right? And I'm going to show you how to use that, to use the metrics to understand this. So you'll get that. You'll get the presentations themselves. You get the recap of this, the commentary that I'm using currently, to show you how this is all rolling out. And that works only if you go through my link and buy the course through my link. And you would send me the receipt through Messenger, and I'll put the link for the Messenger below, or I'll put my email so you can send me the receipt through there. So I hope that helps you guys out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Super excited to see how this thing rolls out and how many people. I'll keep you guys updated on the numbers that they roll out for us. As an affiliate, I get to see that stuff too, so it's really cool. Talk to you guys soon.